What's up everyone, I'm Vivi and welcome back to some Ratchet and Clank. Now, a question has been on my mind lately and it's the following. Who will be the next writer for the next Ratchet and Clank game? Assuming it's gonna happen. Like I said in the previous video, another Ratchet and Clank game, it's a high possibility, judging by the success of their recent title, right? Now, before jumping into that question, does Insomniac Games know what to do next? Like I said in my previous Ratchet and Clank video, I'm sure that they have some ideas in the back of their minds. Actually, Shira Heiji, the one who commissioned me the profile picture, by the way, check her out, link will be in the description below, she reminded me of something. Ratchet Galaxy, this French fan site, links in the description as well, they had interviewed Insomniac Games' James Stevenson back in March 2016, before the launch of the PS4 game and the release of the movie. Now, during that interview, he said that they never have ideas set in stone, but they do have ideas on what to do next. Either it's a sequel to the PS4 game or Into the Nexus. Basically, although they seem busy at the moment with VR and Spider-Man PS4, they are not lost. If they do start working on another Ratchet and Clank game, they'll easily come up with ideas. And who knows, maybe they are working on Ratchet and Clank. No one knows at this point. They haven't shared anything on Twitter. I doubt they would even do that. I mean, it's still early. Pretty much the way Insomniac Games thinks when it comes to ideas, they don't follow a list. They don't follow an outline, let's say. The way they think is like this. Okay, you have an idea, sounds like a great idea, let's put that in. Do you have an idea? Alright, let's put that in as well. They just sit down and they brainstorm and they just put everything together and they give us a game. It's not like they have this whole plan written and have to follow it. Judging by what James Stevenson said in that old interview, the way they work is they just brainstorm and put all of their minds together. And that's pretty much how they plan the next game. Now, judging by the amount of passion they have for the Ratchet and Clank series, there's no doubt that they will easily come up with the next idea. Like one person said in that old interview, in the Ratchet and Clank universe, there's still a bunch of stuff to explore. And I hope that the next game is a fully fledged one. Something close to the feeling of Crack in Time, let's say. That one remains my favorite. Anyways, back to the real point of the video. Who will be writing for the next game? And why am I even asking this? They've managed after all these years. Well, the thing is, TJ Fixman, while the Ratchet and Clank movie was entering production, he was already busy on 3 other projects. Fox Project, The Men Who Kill, a project with Disney, and a project called The New Line. And at that point, he believed that it was time to let Kevin Munro and Gary Swallow take over. If you remember, Fixman wrote the draft. And to this day, I still wonder what the movie would have been like if they had gone with TJ Fixman's script. Anyways, during the movie's production, when it was going to enter production, I mean, his contract was up, so I guess at that point he decided to move on. But that doesn't mean he won't be keeping touch with Insomniac Games. On his old blog, he left a nice message talking about why he decided to leave Insomniac Games, but in the title it says sort of. Yes, he's no longer working with Insomniac Games at the moment, but that doesn't mean he won't be keeping touch. Here's what he had written. So why does this title say sort of? Because my relationship with Insomniac and the Ratchet and Clank franchise will continue. As a producer and writer on the movie, I will still be helping to shepherd Ratchet and Clank into the future world. I've also made sure the North Carolina studio has everything they need to finish Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus. A truly awesome game I hope you all love. My relationship with Insomniac will continue, as will my involvement with the video game industry. How it will all coalesce is something I'll work out along the way, but I could never abandon the industry that has given me so much. Now, this was back in 2013, alright? The whole thing with Into the Nexus. Now, fun fact, writer of the Popeye movie, TJ Fixman was supposed to be the writer. I don't know if you guys remember that or even knew about that. Now, what is even going on with this film? Quick. The movie is not cancelled, it just got delayed very badly, to keep it short. The original writer, who goes by the name Gendy Tartakovsky, who was also the director of the Hotel Transylvania film, he decided to leave the project. And why? Because apparently the studio did not like his vision of the film, and because of that, they got TJ Fixman instead. I don't know if the Popeye movie is still being worked on. look, it hasn't been confirmed cancelled, so at the end of the day, we don't know. I honestly haven't done too much research on the Popeye movie subject, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. Anyways, back to Fixman. This writer, he wrote starting from the Future Saga and onward. He also wrote for the reimagining, actually, and this was announced back in 2015. You can find his tweet, actually. Now hear me out, guys. I really loved his work for the Future Saga. Now if he wrote the reimagining and a bunch of people didn't really like the story, then is it a good idea to bring him back? Look, the game is based off the film. That's just how I see it. That's how I will always see it. So if Fixman decides to, you know, work on another Ratchet and Clank game, I'm all for it. I'm not worried at all. He wrote the Future Saga, right? But who wrote the classic Saga on the PS2? That we don't really know. We can't see anything in the credits, and I think that the devs were the ones who wrote the story. Everyone brainstorming and just coming up with the final draft. And like I always said, the Future Saga is more story driven. And why? Because they got an actual screenwriter. It just felt different, but different in a good way. I enjoyed Crack in Time, like I said before. Now Sly Cooper, for example. All of the games, if I'm not mistaken, were written by devs. Now for the first game, Thievius Raccoonus, if you go on the IMDb page, apparently Joseph Kwongo wrote the script, but I'm not too sure about that. Anyone can edit IMDb. But as for Sly 4, Matt Olsen was the co-writer. Fun fact, Matt Olsen is the voice actor of Bentley. Now comparing the classic Ratchet and Clank game with the future games, the jokes, they were still present, and okay, maybe the classic had a few more jokes, but overall the feeling of the Future Saga, I enjoyed it. Fixman did an incredible job. If he were to come back, then I'd be happy, to be honest. But if, let's say, the devs decide to write the next Ratchet and Clank game, will it feel like Ratchet and Clank on the PS2? Okay, maybe the devs might write for the next game, but I'm sure Fixman will be there to give them feedback. Like he said, he's still gonna keep in touch with Insomniac Games. Also, know this, the team at Insomniac Games is not like it used to be in the past. If the people who are part of the team work on the script, I won't jump to the conclusion that, hey, it's gonna feel like Ratchet and Clank PS2. That we don't know. The team is not the same. We have new people, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and also, I don't know if you guys had any clue about this, but ex-workers at Insomniac Games, Mike Stout and Tony Garcia, they used to upload on this channel called The Useless Podcast. They were involved in the development process of Going Commando and Up Your Arsenal. You can find a bunch of gameplays with commentaries on their channel. Link will be in the description below. So without them being part of the script writing process, assuming they did throw in some ideas, is it going to feel like classic Ratchet and Clank? That's what I mean. We don't know. Anyways, I'm really curious to find out how the next Ratchet and Clank game is going to turn out. Is it going to be a short game? Something like Into the Nexus, Full Frontal Assault, All for One? Or are they planning on making a pretty big one? Something like Crack in Time? Or the length of Going Commando and Up Your Arsenal? And think about this, they no longer have to worry about a movie's script. They have a lot more freedom this time, and that means they could add more content, more planets, more weapons, and they're probably going to take more than 10 months to develop the next game. Remember, Ratchet and Clank PS4 took them 10 months only. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna end the video right here. So as usual, leave all of your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that Fixman might return for the next Ratchet and Clank game? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I've been Vivi, and thank you for watching.